All right, please have a seat. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of the House of Representatives, Madam Pro Tem, members of the Senate, Associate Justices, members of the Judiciary, Madam Katumwa Bawaka, First Lady of the Republic of Liberia, other officials of political parties, prelates, members of religious organizations, our international and local partners, traditional leaders, chiefs and elders, my fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We thank God Almighty, the preserver of our nation, and are grateful for his blessing upon us over the past 12 months and nearly 2 centuries of nationhood. As our work continues to confront vexing challenges, some existential, we must strive for a better and more peaceful, sustainable, and inclusive global community. Please permit me to take this moment to express my profound thanks and heartfelt gratitude to you, the people of Liberia, for your unwavering commitment to the peace and stability of our beloved country. Your dedication to keeping the peace reflects our conviction that progress must be grounded in unity and national solidarity. Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members of the legislature, we're here today in keeping with Article 58 of the Liberian Constitution, which mandates the President to deliver an annual message outlining the legislative agenda, report on the state of the economy and the general affairs of the Republic. A year ago, we addressed the citizens of this Republic through you, following an epoch-defining transition that captivated the democratic world. At that time, we stood within the revered walls of the Capitol building, an enduring symbol of our democracy bestowed upon us by our forebears. Now, a year after the historic transition, we face a moment of truth that our democracy can be threatened by those who oppose the steady progress. However, the fact that we are reporting on our stewardship here today on the grounds of the People's House recently damaged by fire highlights the resilience of the Liberian people. I assure you that the security of the state and the sanctity of our republic, though may be assailed, may be threatened, however, it can never be broken. It will be preserved. No one's personal ambition can ever outweigh the importance of our peace and security. This rescue train is moving, and all those harboring mental reservations to hop on the boat and let us proceed with the business of the Liberian people together. Compatriots, when we assumed leadership We did so with a clear agenda, fully aware that the journey ahead would not be easy. We started with a 100-day plan to implement immediate measures aimed at addressing the people's needs and aspirations, providing relief from years of hardship and uncertainty. Even with limited resources, we made real progress in many areas after the first quarter. We improved public sector accountability and worked on the road infrastructure while addressing issues in agriculture, health, education, technology, drug abuse, alongside key legislation. We recognize the immense challenges that lie before us, and though many problems persist, our country stands in a better place today than when we first began. I have dedicated countless hours to the welfare of the Liberian people, and with your unwavering support, we remain optimistic about the future of our promised nation. It is our faith in that promise that drives our vision for progress. Mr. Vice President, Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, and esteemed members of the 55th Legislature, as we come to fulfill our constitutional duty, I commend each of you for your hard work, particularly in passing 11 legislations, one joint resolution. The passage of the Act authorizing government to spend $41.3 million in February 2024, pending the approval of the budget, demonstrates your commitment to addressing urgent needs and funding development across all sectors. However, we must act swiftly on the outstanding proposals before us: the Presidential Transition Bill, the National Tourism Bill, and the Local Government Bill, among others. We also urge prompt attention to Bank Financial Institutions and Bank Financial Holding Companies Act of 2024 and the new zoning law that will impact national budget, 6 financing agreements to support economic growth, and 2 bills aimed at improving education and tax system. To empower young people and equip them with the skills necessary to meet national needs, we propose the Liberia Youth Services Program, the SEP, and the Technical and Vocational Education Training TVET Commission Act of 2024. Looking ahead, I will be submitting new legislative proposals, including the Amended Payment System Act, the Liberia Insurance Regulatory Commission Act, and the Revised Code of Conduct for Public Officials. Additionally, we will propose refunds in the state-owned enterprises through the establishment of State-Owned Enterprise Authority of Liberia, SEAL. These proposals are designed to improve governance, foster growth, promote transparency, and empower our citizens, paving the way for a better future for all. Delays in acting on them could jeopardize the success of the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, AAID. In the year under review, we also issued 14 executive orders addressing the urgent needs of the government, including those establishing the Office of the War and Economic Crime Court and National Railway Authority. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, faces escalating land conflict. Our court systems are overwhelmed by nationally determined contributions, NDC, are ambitious, aiming for 64% reduction in emission by 2030. We are expanding our NDCs to encompass freshwater ecosystem, land rights, and youth involvement, reinforcing Liberia's leadership in global climate fight. Positioned to benefit from the carbon market, with over 42% of the Upper Guinea rainforest under our stewardship, we are developing a legal framework to facilitate participation in these markets. The National Climate Change Steering Committee is leading the efforts with support from key international partners. Honorable members of the legislature, as we address people today, we focus on critical issues of land governance. Young our citizens, land is one of our most vital resources, a gift from God and our forefathers that offers opportunities for livelihood and economic development through investment. However, Liberia faces escalating land conflict. Our court systems are overwhelmed with land cases, and headlines highlight disputes between investors and communities alongside powerful individuals grabbing land from the vulnerable. Land conflicts in Liberia are rooted in historical grievances, poor governance, and increasing pressure on land use. I assure you that we are taking bold steps toward change, ensuring our people receive historical justice and, more importantly, providing them with opportunity to make productive use of their resources. In 2024, we issued these to 24 land-owning communities, securing almost 1 million acres land and benefiting more than 200,000 Liberians. We also imposed moratorium on public land sales to curb speculative grabs, which will be lifted only after guidelines are established. These efforts are
Okay, folks, we want to say welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Of course, we're back. We're another edition of the program, the Late Night Show, the Late Night Politics on Spoon. Many thanks to all of you across the world for joining us as we bring you the updates, discuss the issues, afford you an opportunity where you can have a say on national issues. The children crying for starvation. We have a diverse panel here tonight that serve national issues and, of course, get the national conversation moving. I'd like to welcome all of you tonight. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the program, the Late Night Show, the Late Night Politics on Spoon. Kindly share the program as you come on tonight. We will appreciate if you were to share the show in your different group chats, on your Messenger, your Facebook timelines. And so we have a great conversation here. I want to welcome all of you, God Favor Caesar, Esther Williams, John Merwin. I see Prince Dozier, Nathaniel K. Hill joining us as well. Willard B. Morris, Yaya Davis, Oxford, Gabe. Thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. Hipokazi, Coco, Zokura, yes, Francis Ray, Eric McGill, Mr. McGill, we appreciate you always for joining us. P. O'Neill Johnson, and to everyone joining us tonight, let's hope we can have a great show, a great conversation here on this edition of the program, the Late Night Show, the Late Night Politics on Spoon. And I want to say thanks to all of you for joining us. Well, there's a whole lot across the country, lots of things happening. As most of you may be aware, the biggest news in the country today has been the State of the Nation address. President Boakai today, in line with Article 58 of the Liberian Constitution, addressed the nation. Um, that was a constitutional mandate that he had to perform there today on the grounds of the legislature. It was a historic one when the State of the Nation address will be delivered in the open on the grounds of the legislature right before the joint chambers in the rotunda of the legislature due to the situation with the burning down of the Capitol building. But it's a great thing that we're here tonight. We're going to discuss the issues. I want to welcome all of you tonight to this edition of the program. Well, there's a whole lot to talk about tonight, and let's hope we can make the most of the time we have to be here to have these different conversations going on. Um, Today, the Police Inspector General of the Republic of Liberia, uh, Colonel Gregor Common, addressed the media briefly when he stated that there is no evidence of this investigation linking to any political party. He called on those individuals who have been, um, or are trying, or who are some political actors are trying to influence to protest in the name of protesting for your lawmakers or for some people who have been declared persons of interest to desist, to stay away, because whoever is being called as a person of interest at the moment is being called because um, of what the investigation has uncovered so far. And if that person or whoever those individuals are did what they did to the Capitol building, then members of their constituents or Liberians should know that they did not do it in the interest of them. And so they should allow the investigation to play out. Um, and that was in brief conversation. He also spoke about the situation with the recent amount of money that was being confiscated from police officers who had checkpoints mounted today, and a lot more he spoke about in that brief engagement with the media. A Liberian journalist, Moses Gazewu, was recently seen on camera, the BBC correspondent, in a scuffle with some officers of the Liberian National Police. They've begun investigation into that matter. It's before the Professional Standard Division there at the Liberian National Police trying to handle the situation. And then on the flip side, well, a lot more has been happening across the country. There's been different responses or reactions to the State of the Nation address today. Um, and we're going to go into some of those different issues. Well, the Civil Law Court dismissed the petition for declaratory judgment filed by the COFA, filed by Councillor Kofat and others. The George Smith, said he has no jurisdiction over any case, over the case that is already decided by the Supreme Court, and he dismissed the case today. And so what that means is that the body is now going to be taking the issue up to the Supreme Court, since in fact that's the Supreme Court happens to be the final arbiter of justice in the country. Uh, the petition for the declaratory judgment was filed by Honorable Kofa and his team um, to um, declare or come to have the court to speak to the constitutionality of the majority block and the proceedings, but that case was being dismissed today, and so that's exactly where we are. Um, we're gonna move on to talk about a lot more that's been happening today. The State of the Nation address. The Supreme Court was not represented today. So the judiciary, let me put it that way, was not represented today, and that has sparked some major conversations. Some seeing this as the court or the judiciary trying to stay away from everything that's happening with the legislature, while others are seeing it as something that doesn't really matter, since in fact the State of the Nation address is primarily to have the president address the Liberian people through their direct representatives, who happen to be the senators and the representatives. All right, so yes, and a whole lot happening across the country. We don't have much time. Let's go straight into it now. Let me go across the table and bring the team on. I see Moba Zoka has joined us already. Moba, thanks for joining us tonight. It's good to have you on. You want to unmute? We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson, and thank you to our many listeners. I've been off the few times. It's been a tough time, but thank God, I'm back. Yes, a lot going on, and we yet to get our one or two opinion on issues that concern our country, and I'm looking forward to that, Nelson. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot, Moba. Let's take Sandy. Sandy, thanks for joining us. It's good to have you on tonight.
Nelson, good evening. Zogai, good evening. It's good to be here with you guys.
Yep.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Let's get Fambole on. Fambole, thanks for coming on tonight. It's good to have you on.
Thank you very much, Nelson. It's always a pleasure to be here. And what's up, gentlemen? I hope we have a fruitful discussion today. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot. I saw Trukon. All right, so we're gonna bring the rest of the guys on, but let's have a great show tonight. There's a whole lot happening across the country, and we're gonna go to the State of the Nation address. I believe, yes, that's the big news in the country today. A lot of conversations around that. Yes, sorry, we don't have the luxury of time tonight, so I want us to go straight into the conversation. We'll do our closing later and all of that, but I want us to go straight into the conversation due to time factor. Chokon, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on. Can you hear me?
Oh, thank you so much. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So it's good to have you on as well, and we're gonna bring the rest of the folks on. But I want us to go straight into the conversation tonight, guys. Not much of a time to do, the regular opening and all of that. But again, I want to say to everyone, please share the show to our audience as well. Share the program, so we'll have a great conversation tonight. The minority block today, some time ago filed a petition for declaratory judgment before the Supreme Court, and not before the Supreme Court, but the Civil Law Court. And that was being dismissed today by the judge, who said that he does not have jurisdiction over that particular case. And, that has sparked some concern. Now, in the midst of what's happening, the minority bloc, who carried this issue before the Civil Law Court, a bulk of the members of the majority bloc have been going to session. While we're talking about this, all right, so Councillor Kofat, or Speaker Kofat, on one end was the one, along with his team, that took this case to the court. But the court has dismissed the case on grounds that no jurisdiction. But another thing about this whole case is that at some point, it appears to be a repeat of what we saw with the ruling that previously came from the Supreme Court with respect to the court coming up with the ruling. Everything that happened was anti-vary, ultra-vary, and they should go back to status quo ante and all of those different things. And then after that, there was another there was another attempt to have the court further interpret her ruling after the justice minister did so, which the court did not do. And in the midst of everything, another attempt, go back to the to the civil law court, file a petition for declaratory judgment to declare unconstitutional everything that's happening with the majority black. But again, the court has dismissed that particular case. I want us to start a conversation from here. What do you think is happening here? Let's start with you, Moba, and then we're gonna move to Sandy, our brother Chokon, and family. I want us to take maybe 2 minutes across the table on this particular one before going to other issues.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. Thank you to my fellow panelists. Look, Nelson, let me say this. I think George Smith was right because according to he responded to that identical case. He said the case already filed to the Supreme Court, and the same thing they said, you have no power to overrule for, against the Supreme Court. So I don't think that's something that it should be probably it should be a case. But the whole case issue where you see Funanti and his people keep putting this thing. We understand that where it reached now, I think there's no one can help Funanti. All I expect him to do is just my man, sometimes it's good just to let him go and move on, because we talking about the Constitution, violating the Constitution article, of 1986 Constitution, but we don't look at the big pictures, and it will not be the first, it will not be the last. This thing that happened, it will not the first before, and this will not be the last. It will still happen, it will continue happening. You think the people will still be going by article, the Constitution of 1986? No. They will do what they want to do, because anytime you say they are playing a political timber. So no matter what Funanti Kofa do, Nelson, there's no way he will go back over there. And when you keep putting that thing, Nelson, there's nobody will help him, because all the when you go, I agree. Today we say, but let's say the entire judge never attended the program. But guess what happened?
Yeah, we're gonna come to that aspect.
But another day, Nelson, it just like let Funanti Kofa just, in my own opinion, let him just let it go and let him just move on with his life and forget about it too much hard and putting. Because if the judge stand their back on you, there is nothing you can do. People will keep pushing you. No, do it that way, do it that way. But they don't know the consequences that coming way. They don't know what Funanti Kofa going through. Now we get other things that coming in, Look, Nelson, it just let him just let it go and move on. Let him just forget about the whole fooling, walling, doing this, because they will not be the last and they will not be the first. And it was not even the first, but it will not be the last. It will happen. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot. Cindy, you want to weigh in your thoughts on this issue before?
Nelson, we are a country of law. And when you are faced with a situation like this, you must exhaust the law to the highest level. So when I'm hearing folks saying Funanti should just move on, we have a country that has constitution, that have law. If they believe that there are other avenues that they can follow to pursue this case, they must follow it. No one should be prevented from going to court.
Cindy, do you really think that this fight is worth it, especially given how far it's come?
I am not the speaker of Funanti Kofa, neither am I on his team. He's a lawyer. He has lawyers that represent his team. If they believe, this is not just about Funanti Kofa. This is about setting precedents. This is about addressing issues that have been in the past. This happened to former Speaker, now Senator Snow, and now Senator, this guy, Alex Tyler. We swept them on the carpet. No major steps were taken. And here we are. We are having repetition of this thing. I will say this. The Liberian Supreme Court should not be even the last place. If they fail to interpret the rulings, let Funanti go to ECOWAS.
Thank you.
We must address it. Look, Nelson, let me end on this. The judge said that he has no jurisdiction. Basically, it means that the court that they sought does not has the jurisdiction to determine or don't have any legal authority to hear or decide the case. We should not speculate, right? It could mean, the court basically just don't have the authority, or they don't have the authority over the parties involved. Could that be because the case have been heard at the Supreme Court?
That's what he said. Go look at what he said.
So then that's the thing. It has been heard by the Supreme Court. So now I don't have the authority, being a lower court, to listen to it, to make a decision. If the Supreme Court refuses to interpret, let Funatikofa go to ECOWAS court. And from what we saw today, and I know we'll get to it, for the Supreme Court to be absent today, they send a clear message. But you cannot send a message in darkness. You must send a message that we understand, that the ordinary people understand. And that's why Funatikofa and his team are asking you to interpret your rulings. So do not delay it. Come out and interpret the rulings. Based on your interpretation, if the people do not agree, they can take further action. If they agree, then we'll move on as a country.
But Sandy, sorry to interrupt you. The Civil Law Code is saying that the court lacks jurisdiction to review the constitutionality and legality of the action of the House of Representatives. This case has been heard by the Supreme Court earlier.
Right.
And given where it is now, there's nothing they can do about it. Now, are we in a cycle here, Cindy? Do we find ourselves in a situation where we just in the same spot? A ruling comes out, the ruling is read, is out in the public. Minority Black takes, file a bit of information or whatever to the court, trying to get the Supreme Court to interpret her own ruling. The court doesn't adhere to that, dismisses that particular request. The next thing is we're seeing another one, this time around, a petition to get the Civil Law Court. Now you left from the Supreme Court, now you come into the Civil Law Court to file declaratory judgment for the court to establish the constitutionality of the House of Representatives or the lower the majority Black. But mind you, why this is going on, these same people who are going to the court to get the court to establish the legality of the body are going to session. The budget has been passed. They are taking pay from the same budget. I mean, Cindy, tell us where exactly are we? Are we seeing an action that is being triggered by conviction, or is this just for the political charade?
No, Nelson, the Liberian people work still have to be done. It is clear that the president has taken side with the minority bloc, backing the illegal speaker, Richard Combs. So the rest of them who has been disarmed pretty much, the minority bloc has been disarmed by the executive, pretty much. So they have no power. They can't keep sitting around. They can't go to their meetings that will yield nothing. So they're saying, even with this level of pain, even though we disagree with what the executive branch is doing with this illegal so-called majority bloc, we must still work for the Liberian people.
Thank you.
And because they are working for the Liberian people,
I want to interrupt you. Let me bring our brother Chokon on. Chokon, let's hear your take on this particular issue, and then we'll bring a family in.
Oh, thank you very much for bringing me back on the show today. Yes.
Okay, that's good. I'll look at it.
Yeah, so I'm not a lawyer.
Baba, why do you want to hijack the entire show?
No. I didn't recognize. I don't get it.
Yeah, so Yeah, so I'm not a lawyer and I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer, but the Constitution of Liberia is extremely clear. The Constitution says to remove the speaker, we must have 49 representatives voting in that regard. What is happening right now, we have never had a 49. And I listened to one of my friends saying that there have been a precedent with Edwin Snow and that of the former speaker Alex Tyler. In their case, they never pursued the issue. They had some internal wrangling within the legislature and they personally decided to resign. So there haven't been any such precedent where less than 49% group up or gang up to remove the speaker. And I listened to the president's speech, and the reason why I'm bringing this up because it is directly in this regard. He said that he is going to send forward to the legislature some legislation that will try to harmonize some of our laws that have some level of ambiguity. And that brings me to the understanding that because the Constitution did not clearly state how can a minority prevail on the majority to come to section. So probably it was that kind of ambiguity he was making reference to. And if that is the case, it brings me to I'm not a fan of philosophy, but it brings me to the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, where he talks about the theory of double effect. You cannot endorse something that is bad, and then after that endorsement, because it is going to bring you because there are some goods that is going to benefit you. So because of that, you're going to endorse it from the initial point. I think as a statement, one of the oldest person in the political cycle of Liberia, the president should have known better and he should have intervened at the earliest point to ensure that we don't have any such thing. It would have been extremely embarrassing had Speaker Fonati Kofa marching to the podium to take the speaker chair today because he's still the speaker. He has not been removed constitutionally. And someone talk about the Supreme Court boycotting the event. I think it doesn't
Yeah,
send any message because
we're gonna get to the boycott situation with the Supreme Court, the judiciary, and all of that. Because that's a whole conversation there all by itself. But Chopin, do you think this fight is worth it, especially given where we are now?
I think it worth it. I think we should stand for something. We should stand for the law. And if there is a reason for which there is some level of ambiguity, we should probably have a national convergence and see how best we can try to address the ambiguity. But we should not do anything that is opposed to what the law says. And the law says we should have 49% removing the speaker. Anything other than that is unconstitutional. So if
Okay.
anybody want to support anything that is unconstitutional on the basis of expedient, it is up to them. But for us, we stand by the Constitution. And I think that's the best thing for everyone to do.
Thanks a lot, Chokon. Fambola, you want to come in quickly on this one?
Yeah, once it comes to family, it become quickly. All right. Nelson, thank you very much. But well, the civil law code, in its wisdom, knew for the way that there is no legal system in which the Supreme Court pass down a judgment and then the lower court go and turn that case around or reinterpret what the Supreme Court says. It's not going to happen. And more besides, the minority lawmakers, I think they are buying time. And this is another game. Let me put this out. This is not a fight anymore about former Speaker Fonati Kofa. There are people behind Fonati that is dragging this case, hoping that they can get something out of it. Because if we look at it critically from another lens, let's put aside the issue about being in favor of one group or the other. But let's look at common logic. Let's put common sense into this. You cannot say that you are against the constitutionality or the unconstitutionality of something, and then you stay aligning yourself with that particular thing and receiving benefit from it. You said this process is done out of the law. But yet and still, you go back to sit on the gabble of that same person that you say is illegal. What does that bring up? It also tells us that you want to be hanging on the arm of the ego, and you be telling the ego say your arm stink. I don't really get it. Those guys are still being paid, and from the budget that this illegal person signed, they're still getting a full benefit and everything. And now they want to distract the Liberian people. This is complete distraction. The country is at a point where it needs to be elevated. It's not time for us to be dragging this. This thing has been done and over with ever since. In as much as they made that press conference and they said that they're going back to session and they see it necessary to do the Liberian people's job, that case has ended.
Thank you.
Because that was exactly the voice of the Liberian people, because they are direct representation of the Liberian people, and they came up with a general statement and they said they are going back to session to make sure that they do the Liberian people work. That means the case is already over. The Liberian people said no waste, no time for delay. If the executive concur or agree with this person, and majority of them have already agreed to sit on this gamble, this is not your birthright. Let it go and do the Liberian people work. You still a representative. Why are you wasting time for? Okay,
I want to hold you there. Fambule, and let's transition quickly. Today, and I want us to take 1 minute each on this one. Today, you saw these empty chairs at the grounds of the legislature when the SONA was being presented. Even before the arrival or before the start of the presentation, the Chief Justice, according to information, is not in country. But then the question was, how about the 4 others? Why do you think the Supreme Court or the judiciary, let me put it that way, the judiciary was absent at the SONA today? Let's start with you, Moba, and then we're going to go to Sandy next.
Look, Nelson, I think that was misunderstanding. I believe, within my own opinion, that probably there was a misunderstanding between the judges pertaining to the case.
You think misunderstanding?
Meaning what? I mean, it may not come out in the public. Meaning, maybe pertaining to the case, when you look at the entire case, Nelson, some judges will agree to what happening, and some judges are against what happening. And based on that, I don't think they'll be able to sit in the same place and pretending, and those who probably against what's going on, sitting on the judge, Richard Kuhn, sitting on the speaker, Richard Kuhn, so then it will be an abomination. So based on that, they say, okay, you know what? We are
but again, Moba, just using that line of reasoning, would that imply that all the other 4 members of the Supreme Court bench are against? That's why they stay away?
No. I believe they all need to be in one call to attend. So when probably if they're having misunderstanding between them, they all are going to sit. Probably they're talking behind the scene, but probably they like when we go over there, some constitution will be breached and some will be that's thing. It's just a common.
Thank you. Someone is calling Mobile, but go ahead, Cindy. Your take on this whole issue here with the absence of the judiciary today at the SONA.
Nothing first, let us not downplay the absence of the judiciary branch of government, the third independent branch of our government that were duly invited by the president, by the executive, which is part of the tradition of the SONA. I understand people will argue that this is for the president to speak to the legislators, but traditionally, it has always been the case that the judiciary branch of government will be represented, or that they will be there to
okay.
Nelson. So
all 3 branches of government needs to be represented.
exactly.
Yeah, you need to all three branches of the government. But again, on the other end, a lot of analysis are going towards this end, wherein folks are saying that the primary function or reason for the SONA was to have the president address the Liberian people through their direct representatives, the legislators, the senators and the representatives. Once they were there, it didn't matter whether the judiciary was there or not.
It matters, Nelson. It matters for our democracy.
Why do you think about it?
It matters for rule of law. It matters because that's how it has been done. The president was speaking to the country. The enforcers of the laws in our country, which is the judicial branch of government.
No. Let's put it this way. Let's go back. Let's put it this way, Cindy. All right. So the legislature is the first branch of government. They make the law.
Mhm.
The executive will the executive will enforce the law.
The judicial
The judiciary will interpret the law.
Thank
But
you.
the makers or framers of the law and the interpreters and the enforcers of the law were there, but the interpreters of the law were absent.
Nelson, the president was
Does it matter? Does it really matter when the man who made the law, and the person who's there to enforce the law, they are present, but the person who's there to interpret the law is not present? Does it really matter?
Nelson, for a democracy, considering that we practice pretty much photocopied of what the American system practice, we understand the importance of all three branches of government being present. And that's how it has always been, except for two cases, only two cases in the entire history of our country, that the judiciary were not present. It happened during Madame Salif time, and that was a clear protest to tell Madame Salif that we are against what you are doing with the legislators to remove snow. Again, they spoke today directly to President Boakai that your action to back Nelson, that's it. It was a silent protest. It was a silent protest to signal their dissatisfaction with the current legislative
but Cindy,
and executive leadership.
Cindy, assuming this was a silent protest, was it prudent to have a branch of government protesting?
They are the interpreters of our laws.
Was it prudent? Was that action prudent?
It was prudent, Nelson. When you dissatisfy, when you are not in agreement with some ill actions, when you are not in agreement with the branch of our constitution, when you are not in agreement with folks that are not abiding by the laws of the land, you protest. They will not go on the street to protest. So they will protest. My man, my own time. They will protest in silence.
Thank you.
This is the second time in the history of our country that this is happening.
So I want to go you there, Cindy. I really want to be there because I intended to have us take just a minute around the table on this conversation. Moba, you want to say something quickly?
Yeah. I want to ask Cindy. Then why the Supreme Court had the power to tell and say, okay, this case, you guys, y'all go by the Constitution and you guys in error, period. And y'all go back to do the right way. So if the judiciary don't do that, and today the boycotting, then why you say, it's a protest?
When you say
let me address
settle the
what
matter.
exactly are you talking about, Moba?
No, I'm going to Sandy because he said it's a protest for the judiciary to stay out or the SONA today.
Okay, so I think I get where Moba is coming from.
Yeah.
Moba is saying that the judiciary had the opportunity, the judiciary had the card, to make the decision, say to whoever was wrong that you are wrong and you are right.
Y'all go by.
The judiciary did not do it. The judiciary kept, bypassing and the whole situation, trying to use legal terminology and trying to use BB book that is simple people can understand. It got to this point. So Moba's concern is If you had the authority to do something,
Yeah,
you didn't do it. Why are you even boycotting?
The
At this
judicial branch of government, especially our Supreme Court, do not speak in elementary terms. The judiciary and the Supreme Court were very clear. They gave you articles.
my man, you didn't follow up your horse. You get the power to make
No,
laws.
What about you gotta give it
You
chance?
want your
You
kid,
gotta give me chance.
your children,
Nobody, you gotta give me chance.
two of your children making.
No, no,
We-
you are misunderstanding the whole thing. Boba, apparently you do not understand the functions of our governance. You don't understand the different functions of the branches of our government. The judiciary cannot come and say, we will make the legislator to do this and this and this.
They want made the Supreme Court the power of the country.
No. That's not what it means, Mamba.
Let's not interrupt.
Being
but
a
since-
Supreme Court means that they are
Turning to your previous point, the judiciary cannot compel the legislature to do what it's supposed to do. But when you agree that the judiciary can come up with a ruling, with a decision that can influence what the legislature does.
And that's why we are asking for interpretations of their ruling. That's why we are asking for interpretation. So that's my frustration. I'm saying the interpretation has been delayed.
Okay, thank you.
So, but the Supreme Court was very clear. They cited Article 33 and 49.
Thank you.
That's why the failure war ultra-virus is being used.
I want to hold you there, Sandy. Let's take Chokon quickly on this one, then we're going to take Fambole.
Okay, cool. Let me quickly jump in. And the word boycott has been used frequently today. And the first time that word was used was in 1880 by Charles Boycott, or land agent in the United Kingdom. And it is a democratic word which is used to show disagreement. So if the action of the Supreme Court was intentional and they decided to intentionally boycott the event, they were showing some disagreement over the way in which the state of the affairs is being run. But like everyone else, I do have some level of frustration because, like Molba said, the Supreme Court had the unique opportunity to put an end to this entire saga. What they could have done, they could have clearly articulated the ruling. They should call spade or spade. But on the other hand, they were probably afraid to embarrass certain actors because even before the Supreme Court rule, there were some people from the executive who were already doing business with the guys from the majority black or so. So I think their action is belated, but it is still not a there's not a bad time to do the right thing. So I think the Supreme Court should try to do what is right in order to ensure that they bring back order because we actually need harmony in Liberia. And they actually abused the opportunity that was presented to them. And that opportunity was when the two sides went to them for ruling and they didn't rule in favor of either of the side. And for the first time, Colette, before you come in, for the first time ever, I listened to this Supreme Court ruling and even lawyers were confused because some lawyers have their own interpretation, other lawyers have their own interpretation. And they are not wrong because even the most learned people in our society could not clearly understand what the Supreme Court tried to say. And that was unfortunate. It should not have been that way.
Now,
So they abused the opportunity given them.
So are you saying are you saying here that in this case the judiciary has got us to where we are?
I want to shift part of the blame on them. And on the other hand, the Constitution is clear. Article 58 says that the state of the nation is going to be held by the two branches, by the upper and lower houses converging, and the president is going to be presenting to them. The guys from the Supreme Court, they are lawyers. Until we can understand their reasoning for not attending the event, we cannot preempt that they are showcasing disagreement with the state of the affair or maybe their disagreement with the new speaker. So
Okay.
we cannot, because the Constitution is clear. I understand that there have been several precedents, but having a precedent doesn't in any way compel them to attending. And the reason why we have the State of the Nation address, I'm not seeing a clear connection for which the judiciary should be present because either ways they're going to listen to whatever the president is going to be propounding and whatever he's going to be submitting. The president will be submitting report on the past year, presenting his legislative agenda for the upcoming year, and then so if there's anything concerning the judiciary, they're probably going to they don't have to be present because they don't have any major role to play at that event. So they could decide to attend or not. So that could
Thank
be
you.
another justification for them being absent.
Thanks a lot. Cindy, I see your hand up.
Just one point. If the brother is saying, if Chokon is saying that the judiciary presence there is meaningless, then why are we inviting the international community? Why are we inviting the rest of the folks? Everyone else, the churches. Why can't the president just go in and meet the legislator in an enclosed space or wherever they are and just present the SONA? You invite the three branches. I understand he's speaking to the legislature, but it's very significant that you invite the judiciary branch of government.
Okay, Cindy, what is the significant role? What is the significant role of the judiciary here?
We are talking about bills. We are talking about budgets. We are talking about all of that. The judiciary is responsible to say.
Nelson, please.
No.
I'm becoming impatient because you keep me too long.
You have to come to you, Family. You have to be patient. Come to you.
Lose your patience when you buy you a car back.
What significant role does the judiciary play here? I mean,
Cindy, you know why I said that it is not too important for them to attend, because the Constitution only needed the presiding of the executive branch, the president, and the legislature to be present for this affair. Inviting the diplomatic corps, the international community, or other branches of government, the ceremonial, with or without them, the event can still be held. So, how important are they to the program?
Very important.
Okay, so thanks a lot,
government. Very important.
I want us to move to Family now. Cindy, I think you concluded, right?
Let's go ahead with Family.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Family.
Thank you very much, Nelson. I don't like to be the last in everything because sometimes some of your thoughts can already escape in and people can already say it. And I don't like this kind of a cliche. I don't like people saying one thing over and over. So right, like Chokon
this is now
has already said.
We are now on UL campus.
Chokon already said it. He said it right. It is not banning on the judiciary to be present. The most important people that should be over there, because the purpose of that part of the SONA was the president to give an account and a policy statement of his stewardship for the past year and the succeeding year. So he needed to have the legislature because they are the direct representation of the people. So look, I know there are so many reasons why people have this too many argument and thing, and this is exactly what the absence of the associate justices did to this particular program. What it does was that it impact public perception. This is the kind of a noise that is now in the country. People thinking that this serves as a protest. It is not a protest. They have the right to sit and have the right not to sit. It is not a protest. So any other party can take that and interpret it your own way. But the most important thing here today was that the president was able to tell the Liberian people exactly what in fact he covered the judiciary, because I listened to him carefully. He said there are a lot of cases the judiciary had, a lot of land issues. So they were covered in the SONA. So he spoke about them. So whether they were there or not, the Liberian people know their role they were playing. And more besides, let us go to the most substantial issue. Let's look at the other good stuff that the president said. Let's look at the challenges that the people face. And more besides, the program was organized, it was structured, and it was successful. It was very successful. I can say it to you. It was successful. So whether the judiciary was there or not, the one we are saying now is just commentary. Quagmire, people can describe it in a way, but in the end, the message that the president had for the Liberian people, he gave it to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Family.
Nelson, look, I hate to do this, but let me say this for 1 second. And don't put me
1 second is already gone.
We are talking about the significance, and I'm being questioned about what's the significance. We are talking about a country that runs 3 branches of government. Unity. Forget about any other political function. But the unification, it shows that we are a country that is united. that our three branches of government, although have separate functions, but work together for the betterment of the country. When one branch deliberately leaves itself out of the nation address, which happens once a year, then you tell me it's not important, it's not a
Thank you.
protest. Let them tell us
let
their
me hold
reason.
you there, Let me hold you
Nelson,
there.
Nelson,
Guys, we have to move on.
I know we
Seriously.
gotta move up. Let me take 1 second. That particular statement that Jarawu just said, that he has no evidence that the absence of those justices were deliberate. He has no evidence that of their health record. You don't even know whether they were sick.
All four of them were sick. All five were sick.
The leader, the chief was out of the country.
Okay,
The
remaining four were sick.
we don't know whether they were sick.
We have to move on. I'm sorry. We have to move on.
Are you using that?
Alfred, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on. You came in at a time when we're transitioning now, so we have you back. Thanks for joining the show. Now, I want us to move on to the SONA today.
Nothing. Can you just give me 45 seconds a minute to I can do contribution to this? I beg you.
Yeah, you're gonna do.
Before we set time up.
But we have to make progress. The SONA today, the president touched on a whole lot, and maybe we need an extra show if we want to go line by line and all of that with respect to what the president.
Which one you think?
I just want you guys to give us your takeaway, from the SONA today, the State of the Nation address. And we're gonna do another round. We're gonna do 2 rounds on this. Your takeaway, the meat of the president's statement today, as to whether he addressed the issues. What is that key issue you think the president addressed today? He was able to address, and then we're gonna come back to do another round on this with respect to what you make of the SONA, the rating, in terms of how the presentation was, whether it was able to touch all of the sectors, and then even the information provided with respect to the different sectors, with respect to the progress being made or the challenges that are in those different sectors. We're going to come to that aspect, but let's hear your individual takeaways from the State of the Nation address today. Maybe we want to start with you, Alfred, since you just coming in.
Please start with Fambula before you cry.
No. From there, relax yourself, okay? Relax yourself, bro.
Let you.
But yeah, good evening to you guys on the show tonight. It's always a heartwarming, experience when I sit on the show with all of my compatriots. Nelson, quite frankly, today I was in and out with the SONA. But the specific area that caught my attention was when the president talked about empowering young people, especially with the TVET and the innovative technology and all of that he talked about. It brings to bear the idea that there's no way the country can move forward without the involvement of young people. However, I was taken aback when the president talked about that. And I look at what the president said in his previous SONA when he talked about empowering young people in the first half of 2024. The president did not tell us exactly in terms of his achievement. When the president told us last year that in 2024, the first half of 2024, there are going to be a rigorous, improvement. He talked about 10,000 young people going through the TVET program and learning new technologies. Unfortunately, today, the president did not tell us as to the achievement of how many people that have benefited, young people that have benefited from that program that the president talked about last year, that he was going to make sure that the issue of, inviting young people into learning new things to be able to empower themselves. I did not hear the president telling us exactly, what were some of the challenges, and if there were challenges, what would be done to improve, how many people benefited. The president never told anything. He only told us they come and start again with a new one. So it was very disappointing to me. And that one of the things I think that this country needs these people visionary.
Aside from the disappointment, what was that catch for you? Aside from just the disappointment, yes, it's a good thing you can talk about your disappointment and your own catch of the whole presentation.
Nothing I will tell you for sure. Some of us who advocated for Joseph Boakai to be president, we will not be sycophantic. This president talked about, he made mention of the burning down of the Capitol building. He talked about the issue of rule of law. But Nelson, tell me for God's sake, this president, what has happened in the last few months? The president cannot tell us that he's not indulging the situation at the Capitol building. See today what happened today. You see the president is talking about rule of law. But if you look at the Capitol building, nobody will tell me, that politics.
My question. You already spoke that there are different aspects of the statement that everybody will weigh in their thoughts on. You spoke about your disappointment. And my question is, what's the positive aspect? What is the positive thing that you also kept, or is it just the negative you captured from the SONA today?
Nothing. This is what Jerry Rawlings, one of Ghana presidents, said.
Jerry Rawlings, man.
He said this in our code.
Let's get running.
Until we value truth in our society, that's the only way justice will be dispensed in our society, unless we stay true to each other. I know you want to tell me about what the president want to do, but Nelson, there's nothing we can be proud of in the last 12 months. Nothing. We've brought this man to power to ensure that the stolen wealth of Liberia will be brought back, that there will be sanctity in governance. Look at what happened at FTA. Look at what happened at FTA.
Oh.
You understand, Nelson? So for me, if you ask me what I catch disappointment. I am frustrated. I expect the president to move with a very strong vigor to ensure that sanctity is in our legislature, to ensure that sanctity is in our governing process. Unfortunately, that is not what we are seeing. Why do the president will be having a state of the nation address? Then you don't have judiciary. You don't have nobody from the judiciary coming in.
Alfred is telling us tonight that he came on as a frustrated and a disappointed man who is very, very much disenchanted and wants to see President Boakai do better, the next year to come. But for this year, nothing positive has happened. Let's hear from you, Cindy. Then we're going to move to Moba.
You sure you don't want to go to Family? I'm
okay, but then let's take Family. Family, go ahead.
Family, no, Cindy. They still too long, so probably you thought they never thought different ones. So
let's take Family. Let's take Family.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Nelson, I don't know you want to understand order. Nelson will leave from here and go all the way up there and come back get a star.
We're not going in a specific order here.
Thank you very much.
I told you the brother will cry. I told you.
Yeah. So well, let me say this to the Liberian people, because
first of all, what was your takeaway from
my
the
takeaway from the SONA was the fact that the president said to the Liberian people exactly the true reality that was on ground. He said to them that I promise you that when I take over, the first thing is to make sure that you have roads to all of the counties. That was a very big one on his arrest agenda. The president make reference of that. He said, I can tell you for free that the legislature agree with us for 41 point some more million to be passed. They agree with that so that we can able to do quick impact project that will have effect directly on the Liberian people. And we saw that the senator from Grand Judea said people call and testify that you can go to Grand Judea.
You're talking about the 22 million?
Yeah, for the role, but the total money that was requested for was about 40 something million for that particular time spent, but they used 22 for the role. So the president said that we were able to.
No. I want to understand. Are you talking about the 100 days deliverable?
Yes, he made reference of it in his speech.
Okay, no, but for the 100 days deliverable, 22 million was the actual amount, but within the 100 days period, they were able to use a little over 8 million to 9 million. That's what they use. And then recently in the public works minister's presentation at the Senate, at a public hearing, he said that they've gone up to 9 million, a little over 9 million. Yeah, if it is for the 100 days delivery.
So let me tell you this. I have this right before me. I knew that you were going to come to that part. The president said the passage of the act authorizing the government to spend 41.3 million in February 2024. That was captured, and all of that money, they were able to get money to address the road situation. That was I was saying. That's my cash. That is my cash, because he said it and he appealed to the legislature and they approved it. So they have this cordial relationship. The president still continue to tell you that he cannot function independently. They have other people saying now. The president is signing. The president asked them and they authorized it. So that's exactly what we want for the Liberian people to know. That I know people can disagree, but in the end, let us still come together and find common ground and do something in the interest of the Liberian people. So let me just go through. This State of the Nation address is very comprehensive. It was very comprehensive, and people were thinking that the president was going to do a repetition, because that's exactly what they were thinking. But he went and outlined those major things he knew that he was going to say. And I want to commend the executive management team and all those who helped to get this message out to the Liberian people. He spoke well to the Liberian people, and I want the Liberian people to know that you cannot achieve everything in 1 year. He accepted that there are a lot of challenges. There's an honest person. He did not tell you that, we already made sure the teacher didn't come in. He did not lie. He checked the entire speech. Other people are saying there is no misleading information. Everything the president said, what it was well detailed and it was well captured. So we know that we have 5 more years to go. This is why the people are brainwashing and misleading the people. People thinking that this 1 year means the end of the administration. You cannot do that. There are challenges, we agree. There are some pitfalls, there are some bad things that happen that shouldn't have happened. We agree. But should we just allow everything to go down the drain like that? No. Let us muster the courage and know that our suffering is redemptive. Let us keep moving forward. We have 5 more years to go. This is the time now for us to reawaken and give the beacon of hope to our people. The people are down there, they are very destitute. If you take 1 year of bad governance and just categorize it for the next 5 years, the people always say, what will we be eating till the meat get dry? You take 1 year, the men are not doing nothing. So that means we should go for a third option, like what are hearing now in other quarters. That's sad for our people.
Thanks for that. Let's take Moba, and then we're gonna take Chokon, and Sandy will be last.
Yeah, look, Nelson, there's a lot the president said today, and people keep taking it negative out of it, and that's that point, and I respect that. But remember now, the president went by saying 12% increasement in domestic revenue collection. That's a boost for Liberia. Imagine the Liberian people themselves paying taxes to the government. That's boost our economics. And I go back to the agriculture. He include 200% increasement in agriculture budget, right? In talk with the legislatures. Let's do this so our people can get more food. Our people can do this. Our people can do that. Nelson. And look how he talk about in March, they starting that road going to my bird, right? That dusty road going all the way to Lepiso. They starting that road.
I forgot my own country.
Yeah, that place going, that road going that Kota. You know how long the people been crying for that place since my energy setting regime, up to Joshua regime, he lied, they ate the money. And today the president in March, that project will be starting, and will come here and only say the negative things to make Liberia look ugly. And we forget to know he said a lot of positive things on our Sona today. The president talk about the security. Everything is not perfect, right? We're not saying everything 100% like my brother Famula said. Everything is not 100%. It's gradually. And in that process, he said some things that Liberians, at least we sort of withdraw. We should be happy. You talk about the RRA role. Look at the RRA role today. I think almost complete. It's the 95%, right?
No.
So,
RIA is not up to 95%.
okay, that's 80%.
That's an
Let's go
estimate,
back to
Nessie.
80%.
That's an
But
estimate.
RIA could be around 60% there.
Nessie, you want to write down. That's actually with you. But end of the day, there are progress. Going on. There are a lot of changes going on. The people working. So we shouldn't come here and say the president not say anything. The president only the negative. Oh, the president didn't. Look, I get my brother talking about rule of law. The capital bidding issue. The president had no fish to fry in that oil. Somehow came here, we beat the president got to settle it. And according to, you see, some Liberians had to certify. I remember when people were saying that the president went in close to the talk for Funati Kofa and the other party to talk. People say, why the president got to go talk? The president will keep away. The president won't keep away. Look, we just had to be certified. And we talk about the capital building fire that the incident that occurred. And people say, yeah, Nancy, so it's a lot. Nancy, when we come here to list there, I will list there more than 100. And look at diplomatic tie with Liberia. The president restored that dignity and that respect with diplomatic tie with other countries. They won't come here and bash the president and say things, right? They'll go to job creation. It will happen. It will not happen one day or 2 days. We need infrastructure. We need current. And today, let's see now. Let me conclude by saying the nursing. Today, your minister were not in that sauna. They were in terms on here making a case for Liberia. Making a case for Liberia for electricity, for job creation. Then we'll come every day, we'll come, they'll say the negative thing. Oh, they want to happen. Nothing happen over there. Gradually, it will happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's take our brother Chokon, and then Cindy will be next. Chokon, can you hear me?
Frozen.
Wow. It's time for Chokon to come in, but then okay, but then let's take Cindy.
Chokon is ready.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Very well.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, so I would like to look at the SONA from a different lens, bringing a different perspective. And when I listened to the president today, I was looking for two things: newness and innovation. What are things that haven't happened in Liberia that he was going to be introducing? And what are some of the innovative plans that those who are part of the current government have recommended to him that we are going to see in the years ahead? And I also expected the president to have accounted for his stewardship for the past 1 year and few days or so. So taking that into consideration, during the last State of the Nation address, the president declared the issue about drug and youth unemployment as a national emergency. Taking that into consideration, we expected that the budget that preceded the president initial State of the Nation address to have ensured that sufficient resources were allocated in that direction, and the result from those allocations were going to be reported so that we, the Liberian people, can see the deliverables. And that is the reason why some countries are practicing what we call project deliverable based budgeting, wherein, for example, you say, oh, putting 5 million in the budget at the end of the fiscal year 2024-2025, we're going to have 5 million young people. They are going to be liberated from poverty, and we are going to see them doing X, Y, and Z. And then at that State of the Nation address, the president could probably say, oh, 10,000 young people were trained into technology, and they have opened their own technology business, blah, 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 or what have you. And those young people are seated at the back of the forum. Young people stand, and then we can see the 10,000 young people standing. But we couldn't see anything of that. Everything the president said today, I think the president was extremely deceptive. And he's an older statesman. I might not want to say this, but I think he objectified the Liberian people. He lied to the Liberian people. Lied to the Liberian people in the sense that there are too many things he promised to have done for Liberia that the government, with the entire 1 year, they haven't even addressed. And people say the president is not in control. I think the president is in control, but he doesn't have control, or he doesn't have the ability or the might to do some of the things that he talked about during the campaign. And what are things that we expect the president to do? We expect the president to have taken some practical action that will ensure that the issue of youth unemployment is addressed. He talked about one child, one child policy. If you look at the education sector, what is the prevalence of sitting issue in our school? There are major issues in our education sector as compared to cheers. I'm not saying cheers not important, but that is not the first issue a president should address. I don't know whether this old man is insensitive to the plight of the Liberian people, or whether he advises they are too old that they are not reaching outside from their air-conditioned office to see the real issue that the people are being confronted with. Because there are a lot of different issues that people are being faced with. And I think the president didn't address those issues. In one of his lines, he talked something about I just want to conclude this, Kule. In one of his lines, he said that the government is giving out social cash to vulnerable population, which is not a bad thing. But if you are taking 4 million from the World Bank money to give it out to vulnerable people, which mechanism have we put in place to make sure that those government officials that are distributing the money are actually delivering the money to people? Because I'm from Riverside County. He also listed Riverside County as one of the counties that are benefiting. How can we go out there to see the actual beneficiary? Because we are talking about money that should be changing the life of our people now. Money that people should be using to maybe venture into entrepreneurship, changing their living condition, enrolling in school. So if you say you're giving this social cash to our people, what is the impact it is making? Have it increased enrollment rate into our community college or our high school in the interior? What is the essence of distributing the money? We're just giving people money because we're having extra money from the World Bank. I think it doesn't make any sound and economic sense. And to be honest, I think the president was being extremely deceptive. I actually expected the president to have owned up to some of his mistakes. That my Liberian people, I promised to do X, Y, and Z. The year was challenging. We had some financial issue. We could not have done X, Y, and Z, but we did 1, 2, and 3. And moving forward, we pray that we can work together more collaboratively so that we can be able to achieve some of the things that we talk about. And one of the most divisive things the president said, and I think for that, the president he's not a unifier. He's not a unifier at all. Let me quote him directly. He said, "No one personal ambition can stop the rescue train." Yeah, he said that in his speech. He said, "No one personal ambition can stop the rescue train." Meaning, even if there's something unconstitutional going on at one of the branches of government, the government should go on. Not because of one person who is the speaker, but they are being illegally removed. So because of them, the rescue train should stop. Are you serious?
That's that's the
Well,
most
I don't know
ridiculous.
what you are speaking, but I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I'm saying, come on, Trokon. Are you trying
Yes, he
to
said that.
link
I don't know where
the
Chokon came from with
saga?
that
Are you trying
view.
to link the speakership saga to what the president said today? No one's personal ambition, and you're right. The president said that no one's personal ambition can stop the train from moving. And he has this famous quote that says, "We must build this
So
country."
This
there's
country,
only
whether
one
you like
person
it
who
or not.
ambition.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Trokon.
Okay, yeah. What do you like it or not? So who's in Liberia? Who's in a major leadership position that is trying to store the affairs of government? The only person is Councillor Fonanti Kofa, who is being illegally removed from the speakership, and there's no way we can try to sugarcoat this. And finally, I would like to applaud the Water and Sewer Corporation. I think they are starting on a good footing.
Choko,
They are
point of
starting on a good
correction.
footing.
Councillor Kofa is not stalling anything from the government. He has no
Come on, man.
history.
No,
Come on.
he's being perceived. That's how he's being perceived. You're right. Thank you for the correction. He's being perceived as stopping the entire government because he's saying that when he's not speaker, which of course he should be the speaker, nothing should operate. And he's trying to use the legal means. So you're right. He's not stalling anything. He's only trying to use the legal means to see how best we can resolve our issue.
Well,
Yep. I think
That
basically
sounds like a
those are my
real
major
southeastern politics. Anyway, go ahead.
guys,
Attacking a region in the country.
no, guys. So Chokon, just take 10 seconds to learn, and then we'll bring Cindy in.
Thank you so much. Family, you have to give other people a chance to talk. When you be complaining, other people give their time to you. You don't be intervening and making reckless comment. So I was saying that when it comes to water and sanitation, Mo Ali and his team, they are doing exceptionally well. And I think that is one of the sectors that the government should keep allocating sufficient resources in so that our people can keep enjoying or benefiting some of those basic social services. And that should be a wake-up call to the Liberia Electricity Corporation. They should try to ensure that electricity is provided, because I think Liberia is one of the countries in our sub-region that we still suffer or talk about the issue about water and sanitation as well as electricity. We should have current, we should have access to internet, we should have water all over the country. So these are things that we should not be talking about. And
Thank you, Choko. You said finally 3 times down. Thank you. Let's hear Sandy on this one. Sandy, go ahead quickly. Once you're the last, you quickly. We have to do.
Well, I will get my point across. But look, the SONA was very long. It has a lot of things into it. I felt there were a lot of promises than actually things that has been completed by this administration. But promises are not necessarily bad things. We are hopeful that given the promises made today by the president, that we will see a better Liberia. But let me outline some of the things the president spoke on. The president started off by telling us inheriting or challenge economy. Okay, and he took that challenge economy and he grew the GDP to 5.1%. Okay, that's what he said. The GDP under his administration grew by 5.1%. Now, he made references to the mining area, the agriculture, the fishery, and all the services that help to grow that GDP. All right, good. Now, I find it interesting when the president mentioned all of the new resources we have in the country. And I'm sitting here, I said, but Mr. President, you just failed natural resources management on the MCC compact. You failed it. And now you are mentioning all of the new, that we should be excited that we have new resources in the country, natural resources. But MCC just told us in 2024, you were unable to protect your natural resources. What I mean is Liberian people, foreigners are enjoying those natural resources. So I'm not excited until the president can put in measures to protect our natural resources so Liberians can benefit from them. Inflation was reduced to 7.7%, according to the president, in 2024. Okay? He measured a lot of things. Foreign reserve increased to 458.9 million. Great. But I did some fact check, Nelson. I did a fact check because I wanted to make sure that some of the numbers being measured by the president were right. So when it comes to the GDP growth, yes, the president was right. Fact check. In fact, 5.1% increase we saw. Okay? And it's expected to actually grow this year again by another 5.8% the GDP, which is good. But the inflation rate the president mentioned was never reduced to 7.7%. It was not reduced. Rather, Nelson, what we saw is actually went up. According to the World Bank report, that 2024 under this administration, inflation went up to 10.1%. The president said it reduced to 7.7%. World Bank is saying, Mr. President, it went up to 10.1%. So are you telling the Liberian people the truth on that?
There's information, please.
No, let me continue.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think you're saying something different because what I have here, the president did measure 10.1% is rating right here.
So guys, family, please make sure your mic is muted. You have to be.
Thank you. Mute if I point in the back. This is not UL Campo. We are not discussing. We are not in a soup meeting.
Go ahead, Sandy. Sandy, you are.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Thank you. We are not in soup media. But look, the president again made several promises. And I like the fact when he said, he spoke on national unity. He wanted to properly rebury President Tobon and President Doe. But the president talked about strengthening the healthcare. Maybe we are in the initial state of strengthening the healthcare. But the president said all of the major hospitals across the country have sufficient drugs to supply, medical supplies for the Liberian people. That is not true, Nelson. Matatoba Hospital in Sraju does not have sufficient drugs. That's not true. Our people still have to go outside of these hospitals at drugstore to look for drugs. So again, I don't want to be negative. I am still hopeful that this president has the intention to do good, and that he will do good. I saw the appointment of the president, the UL president. That's a good thing, in the good direction. You talk about rule of law. When Honor Your was father of the nation, you could not handle the issue of the Capitol building that led to the destruction of the Capitol building. Education, pretty much for almost 1 year, Honor Your was UL was closed. You're promising youth empowerment. I have always advocated for that. We don't want theoretical approach to these things. So I am hopeful, but I want to ask the president, let this thing be practical. The road to Rappersport, I welcome that. I'm so excited when I heard that today. I drove to Rappersport. I used my car, drove to Rappersport. Rappersport, Cape Mount now is one of my favorite counties in Liberia, given the natural resources. And I strongly believe that if that road is paved to Rappersport, tourism on that side of the country will be accelerated.
Thank you. Thank you.
But again, Nelson, to end, I've heard so many promises, but little that was done in the first year. We want to see acceleration during the second year.
Well, thanks a lot, Cindy. Family, you wanted to make a quick input? You want to do that?
I think next time, Nelson, you're gonna make me. I want to go back to being the last because I think
Oh,
Sandy is now.
It's like
Sandy is now. You see what Sandy does? Sandy push everybody in front so he can enjoy. He be the last, and he can get all the time in the world, and let him get relaxed and watch him talk all day. No, I want to go back to my last. All right. Anyway, I already injected what I wanted to say, but the issue with Liberia, as we have always said over and over and again, is just the issue of bad leadership, the issue of people not being honest, the issue of people not being patriotic, because Liberia, with the number of years that we have spent and with the number of money that have been spent in that country, Liberia should be far when it comes to modernization. There's so much money that has been invested in that country, but in the end, it has just been pocketed. It has just been divided by few group of people, and in the end, the ordinary people are the ones who are suffering it today. Look, I have refused to accept the fact that the country is divided. I have seen so many people use that to distract our people, because today in the country, no political party has have grocery store or have any assorted goods store that when you go there,
look, family. Our political party is meant to build grocery stores and create elementary schools around the place.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Because
don't be there. Our sister, the president.
Alfred, please don't interrupt. I'm asking family. Our political party is going to establish grocery stores around the place.
So this is what I was saying.
So you want to
wait a minute. No political party. I'm just trying to say that nobody should give that loyalty to political party. I was just trying to tell you that, to tell the people that no political party own a grocery store or own a soda goods store. That is, when you go there and you see the price on the shelf, they say once you are or SYC political party, your press is different. The press in Liberia affects all, whether you ruling party or opposition. That's exactly what I wanted to say. So let us forget about the issue about being loyal to a political party or loyal to an individual. Let us focus on the country, because if suffering come to Liberia, it affects Liberians.
Thank you.
The disparity in price is not going to be for Silesian or reaction or United Partisan. It's for the ordinary people, because the other guys up there, they can afford it. They will do it. So let us take the idea about the country is divided. We are not divided. Liberia is one, and our country can never be divided because somebody want to score political point.
Thank you, family. Let's take a few calls from our folks, and then we'll come back. We're gonna come back quickly. But yes, Alfred, let's take you a few seconds quickly.
Thank you very much. You know, I think my brother is living in utopia. My brother is living in utopia. Look, like, no, don't even shake your head, my brother. The fact of the matter here is that, as evidenced by our just recent election, the country is divided. Nothing you can do about it. We need a national leader who is able to close that divide. And for the president to sit down after 1 year to allow honor his leadership for the only war we fight in our country, nobody bring down the capital building. For the president to sit down on his watch for our capital building to be burned down, and he goes there and say it's not for one person ambition. The tree will not stop; it will keep moving. Then you sit there, you say you refuse to accept the fact that the country is divided. You are living in utopia. This president needs to recalibrate and fix the mess that they have created.
Thank you.
That's what needs to happen.
I want to hold you there. Thank you.
So after the bad thing you see now, also now even your role, the president.
Let's open the phone line, because I don't even want to talk back to Alfred.
So guys, we have to go to the phone lines.
The president for boosting Liberia is never divided on political parties.
055-101075 is the number. We'll take just 5 calls because of time issue. Hello.
How you doing?
Yes, sir. It's good to have you on.
But I'm seeing all of your panelists talking about hospital, don't have drugs. All of us live here in America. When you go to the hospital, they give you prescription, you go to the pharmacy. While we, the Liberians, do the same. And secondly, let me tell my in-laws from Southeast, part of our country. 3 good presidents came from your country, from Southeastern, part of this of Liberia. Third man led off for 27 unbroken years. Those led us from 1980 to 1990. George Weah came and led off for 6 years. 27 plus 6, that's 33. 33 plus 10, that's 43.
Yes, sir.
43. I'm coming now. Next year, please don't cut me off. 43 plus 6. No rule went into your country. Nothing.
Yes, sir. I'm on the line. I'm listening.
No rule went into your country. You're coming see quota, and you're still preaching politics in Liberia. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're my in-law. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you. Let's take another person here. Hello, your name and where you come from quickly. Yeah, go ahead.
With the saying that our brothers from the CDC are saying that the country is divided. They are the ones that are separating themselves from the country. The only reason they are saying all of this is because they don't accept the president as the president. So for that reason, the only thing they want to see is to see bad things happen, and they want to see failure. So they will never, consider the government until they can see themselves back in power. That's the reason you see they are making all those statements. I don't care what this president do, even the president bring America here, they will not accept it. So that's why you see they are making all these remarks. The country is not divided. They are the ones that are separating themselves. Sedition. They are the ones that are separating themselves from the country. See what they did in Canton there when the Joseph Barrel. They went there and then while people are focusing, people are mourning, they went there, put Georgia picture on car, on motorbike, everywhere. They started disturbing in that place there. So who is bringing the separation now? They are the one.
I want to hold
So
you
then
there.
I'm
Thank
start
you.
talking about bringing separation. This one don't are divided. That is not divided.
Thank you very much for your input. 0555
What the guy saying?
1015. 3 more calls to take, and then we end up on the call in segment. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you. Hello, can you hear me? Let's see if we can get this person. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Nelson. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is William Hines, and I'm from Cardwell, New Georgia North.
Hines.
Nelson, President Walker, I listened to him for 1 hour plus, and he spoke lengthily. He was honest with the Liberian people. Nelson, there's a true reality. Nobody can solve Liberian problem in 1 year. Let's be honest. Holding off after COVID is difficult. Right now, the president has noticed all of the problems. We can tell you for sure from tonight that upward we are talking about implementation.
Thank
And
you.
the president was right. If you don't understand the image, that one person holding the country hostage, it doesn't refer to Frantikova. What you say about the former commerce minister who wanted to damage the country? What you say about other people who are sacked, who are suspended? These are people who are not in the interest of the Liberian people, right? People talk about roles, they talk about rule of law. All of those things the president said, he's 100% correct. Do a fact check. You will find out that everything that the president said today, and we are in Liberia, we are going to stay with President Joseph Mabwana. We know that he's a hero. We know that the government officials, they are all heroes.
Thank you very much. Let me hold you there. Thanks a lot for your input. Hello, caller number
Yeah.
4. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Nelson. This is Henry Wadwe Jr. calling from Congo Town. I just first I want to commend the president for presenting the SUNA. I mean, the president went in detail, sector by sector, across every sector in the country. And to be honest with you, Nelson, people talking about division in the country and stuff. Political division is not national division. No politician, when you're making a laws, you go back together and start making fun and stuff. Those guys, Capitol Hill, they're making all the noise. At the end of the day, someone going to City Hall is there making fun and all that stuff. So political division is not national division.
Thank you.
First thing you want to say, yeah. So my thinking is that, yeah, it's just a minute. The president spoke in detail, detailing every sector of the country, including rural, rural, national reconciliation, and all that stuff. When talking about national reconciliation, like, do you want to reconcile or sedition, or unity parties, or unity parties, or sedition, that is the four for each other? What you trying to say? Is that the national division, or are you talking about? No, political division is not national division. After making that, we all sit down, make fun, and all that stuff. It doesn't mean that we are so bitter with each other that you're going to bring. Those that are the brain that just greed, power greed, that bring down the capital belly. You understand? Because they are out, it means no one should sit there.
Thank you.
That's it.
Let me hold you there. Thanks a lot. We'll take the final caller here now. This person here. Okay. Hello. Hello. Okay, so we lost that caller. Then we replace that person with this one. Hello. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, go
Nelson,
ahead.
good morning. I'm James Kane, and I join you from China.
Oh, James, it's good to have you here tonight.
I keep hearing people complaining that the country is divided. Is there any country that does not have any division? I don't think so. So I think the only thing here is the division should not lead to chaos. But you always have the division. There's no way, there's nothing that current President Joseph Mabwana is going to do that will please the seditions to believe that they are on the same level. It's not possible. So no matter what happens, you have people who will think that they are not part of what is happening. It is not in their interest. They will always show that division. For the fact here is, CDC is looking at 2029. So anything that is good from this government, they will always criticize it because they know that any good from this government hinders their the possibility of them being part of 2029. So there is just no way that we have a country that everyone will fall in line. Yes, even those of the most of the panelists in the US, they know the Democrats, the Republicans. There's a division. They are not always together. They don't always agree. But the only thing here is the division should not lead to another chaos in the country. But it's not possible that you have a country like Liberia that there is no division, there is no disagreement in any way possible. It's not possible at all.
Thank you.
So that's just my own take.
Thank you very much, Karen, for your input tonight. Guys, I think we have to do our closing now. Let's start with you, Alfred, and then we just go in that order.
It's been a good show. You know, Nelson, when we come on this show, we come with passion. We come with the belief that the only country that we all cannot be deported from is Liberia. And no matter where we are, nor our status, the only common denominator we have is Liberia. Right? So when we come here and having the experience that we have in the diaspora, enjoying other people's country and seeing what they are doing to keep their country uplifted, all of us here that sit on this panel tonight, we have a common share in Liberia. I don't want to ask my brother send me how much money he sends to Liberia on a daily basis. I don't want to talk to my brother Moba and all of us on this panel. We want Liberia to be better where our own people can be empowered. That they can be knocking on our door every day. I beg you, please send me one. I beg you, please send me one. We want our people to be empowered. So when we see only a few group of people in our country enjoying the national cake, it hurts us a lot. Especially us who had the opportunity to stay in a country to go through the 14 years of civil conflict, where our livelihood were taken away from us, we begin displaced in our own country. It hurts us when we come on this show to see people in our country misleading the people and mismanaging national resources. All right, we need people with vision. We need people with patriotism that will go in there and do the right thing. The other day I was talking about the issue of education in Liberia, right? Yeah, I will conclude on this, Nelson. Brother Zokai. Look, the president needs to do more. I do not hate the president. I want the president to be better. And I will not come here and be praising the president all day. In our common parlance, we say when you praise the white chicken, what happened to it? It joined the real all. I think I'll give you an example. When President Sadi became president, we saw the progressiveness that took place in Liberia. You go to school, I give you a job. You saw more people started going to school. She did not only stop there. The William via Thomas Teachers College became free. Became free. Now, just give me finish. Became free for people to go to school to empower our people to get more trained teachers in the classroom. It happened under President Salif. When she came out the second term, she made a government with family and friends. At the end of the day, what happened? It broke the country down. She took responsibility. She took responsibility of all the wrongs that were going in the country. She never paid for it. She never went to court to pay for it. The culture of impunity in our country is killing this country. So we're telling the president, don't make your relationship with friends and friends. Don't do it that way. If you do it that way, the country will not go nowhere. That's what we are saying to the president. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. To conclude, I would like to start by saying Liberia and Liberians will keep being beggars until we can start to transform our raw materials into finished goods. So whether we can find diamond, we can find whatever mineral in Liberia, in as much we are still going to be signing consensus with different companies to export our raw materials, Liberia and Liberians will keep remaining poor and we're going to keep being beggars. So the government should start to think innovatively and make sure that whenever we are trying to negotiate our minerals, we are always projecting the best interests of our people and not thinking about one big international superpower that will compel or prevail on us to tell us how we should give our minerals out and what we should be receiving. But we, as the owners of the mineral, we should be the one to dictate to them, telling them what we want for our people and making sure that we are transforming and developing our country. That's my first recommendation to this government. So in the President's State of the Nation address, he sarcastically mentioned harmonization. I don't know if you guys caught it. And it was it was extremely unfortunate that after sarcastically mentioning harmonization, his entire address didn't proffer or counter to the harmonization. And I just want to conclude on this. There's a big difference between harmonization and pay range increment. Harmonization means people who are working in the same position are going to be making the same pay, which is 100% a good thing. And I think it doesn't make any sense for anyone to criticize harmonization as a thing, because it means that if Alfred and Chokon work as security officer, if Alfred is making $15, Chokon should make something within that pay range. So if the president have an agenda or something that will be more substantive in making sure that he's going to increase the earning of our Liberians worker, he should not criticize the harmonization without projecting a workable plan. We expect after a year, and not just a year, but according to the Liberia National Revenue Authority, they generated more revenue in this year as compared to the past fiscal year. So now that they are generating more revenue, why is it that they are not increasing the pay of our teachers, our police officers, and those who they claim were affected by the harmonization? So the government should be more practical, and the president should stop being childish and focus on cogent issues. And what are the cogent issues? The issue about healthcare, the issue about economic empowerment for young people, the issue about education. The president talked about the 14 military hospital, although he didn't give any credit to President Weah. He mentioned that there will be some rehabilitation program taking place at the 14 military hospital. The same 14 military hospital, all of the Unity Party guys criticized during the tenure of President Weah. Granted, there are serious issues in rural Liberia when it comes to human resource for health. Health workers are discouraged. They are not wanting to work in rural areas because of different reasons. So the
That
government
is
should be thinking about how they can try to provide an incentivized plan that will attract, for example, if Sandy becomes a medical doctor, goes back to Liberia, something that will attract him to going back to maybe Bokon Jide or maybe Maryland County and be able to work there. But you cannot have a nurse at JFK making maybe 150 US dollars, and you have another nurse that you want to send to Grand Creek County and you want to give them the same thing. What is going to attract them? So the government should make sure that the president should make sure that he have his lieutenant go out there and conduct a substantive root cause analysis, understanding the actual issues our people face with in the different sector, and making sure that his people are the one chair, one child policy. I think it's a fiasco. It's not a major issue in education. The president is insensitive to the Liberian people issue, and he should rethink. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you. Formula, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Well, I just want to let me just say maybe Alfred has joined the campaign on people asking for a third option for Liberia. So every time my brother Alfred speaks, he always talk about visionary leader. So I want to ask Alfred on this platform in the public manner, who the visionary leader that you have on mind that is the best alternative for the Liberian people? You can answer that later. Chokon scratch some good points. You know, I like the
Give
way.
me some time. Me answer the question,
no,
brother.
gotta
No,
go
wait a
back.
minute. Get what I mean. Wait a minute. Get me thinking about visionary people.
For tomorrow.
Chokon scratch some good point. You know, he tried to use the words and try to make it look as if the president President Bouaka, that's a smart way of saying that the president is incompetent. That's how I understand it from how he said it. But here's the thing: the president is not impulsive. The president is not unlike former president that went directly on the university campus and declared all our public institutions free of charge without consulting, without going for that particular analysis that you're talking about, to do that comprehensive and in-depth analysis to figure out how the university is going to function without fundings, that he declared everything to be free. He did not think about that. That was very impulsive. He did not speak about that. The president allowed things to happen. And let me tell you this administration, I'm not a voodoo economist student or people who believe in negativity. I'm a very positive person. I believe that there is still good things that can come from Liberia. 1 year is not enough for us to say all the good things that will outline. The government cannot achieve everything in 1 year. It is good that we recommend them. It is good that we identify there are some faults and there are some bad things that are happening. And everything that is happening in Liberia, it is because they have the same people like you and
Comrade,
myself,
30
young
seconds.
people. Thank you very much. Young people like you and myself who only idea about going to government is to steal from the people. Nobody ever think about going to government and thinking that they are going to serve that country, be very patriotic, and they'll make sure that what is used for the country be used, for the country. Everybody go there with the idea that they're going to enrich themselves. Until we can go and refine everybody, I think that's something we have to open a dialysis center or political dialysis center or something to take everybody blood and we are all the corruption, because this is already systemic. It is institutionalized and everybody is so corrupt to the extent that even President Baga cannot even handle it as all as he is. He's still fighting. Any angle he go on, you see. Look, the children of darkness, Dr. Martin Luther King said, the children of darkness are more powerful than the children of light. And those people who are into the deep hands of corruption, they are so powerful that they can even kill. Imagine how auditors died because they were having evidence that money was stolen. So you should know that the children of darkness, they are very, very powerful than the children of light. But
That's
the
a perception. Your time
by
over.
My man,
Mama, we gotta go
Bamula,
back.
you coming
We gotta
back to
go
the
back,
thing he was
please.
saying. Just close up.
Send it. Go ahead. Send it.
no problem. Go ahead, Sandy. Sandy, I gave you the reading time. Take it.
We are
Go
out of
on,
time,
Send it.
and
I send it down.
just 1 minute across the board to
Thank you
yeah,
for
to-
coming in, Nelson. Thank you.
Send it. Go ahead.
Look, when we come on this show, we come here to speak to what we heard, what we have read, what is happening on ground. We don't come here always to praise sing the president. So to my in-law, John Hanna, who called here and saying the Southeast and you had 3 presidents and this and that, and you
No,
know,
it was not John Henna. It was
one of
who
our
remember
in-law. Yeah.
Brad did Noah, who's
Thank you,
sometimes
John. Sorry, John, I apologize. The
Nelson,
in-law
nobody
that
put him back.
we gave our daughter to, I don't blame you. We gave you our daughter anyway. Then move on. Look, there were some good things in the SONA. I'm not saying that the entire SONA was trash. That's not what I'm saying. What I recognize, however, is that there are so many promises or future things that are yet to happen. That the president is saying we have a plan to get this done, to get that done in this year. The 2025 will get this done. And we are hopeful. I want to see the road to Brabantsport paved. But we are also asking the president that there are a lot of areas that you have failed. For instance, you failed to protect the Liberian people's natural resources. That is according to the MCC Compact. The same MCC Compact that we are celebrating here, that people at Fambula will celebrate here. Oh, we passed. We come and get millions of dollars. You failed to protect the natural resources. Today, you want us to celebrate that we have so many new natural resources in the country. But the one that we knew of, you did not protect them. People will come from their country, India, wherever, and you just allow them to exploit our forests, our natural resources. And you watch them, you sit there, you watch them. They go and reach their family, they go and reach themselves. They gave you just pocket change. That's what MCC said, American people said, and not me. So, Mr. President, knowing that we have new natural resources, I agree with my brother Tricom from Michoacán. Let's produce things in our country. Let's turn those natural resources into products.
Thank you.
That way we are hiring more Liberians, empowering our people. And lastly, I want to thank the president by speaking on the issue of the tourism. I believe that tourism will greatly solve some of our problems. But Mr. President, we cannot really get into tourism when the security sector in the country is deplorable, it's poor. You have to address that, Mr. President. Then we can boast of our country, then tourists can come and be free to invest in Liberia.
Thanks a lot, Cindy. Thanks a lot. Baba, you want to take just 1 million.
Yeah,
So
man. Let me just remember one thing. Look, it was a great show, and thank to my fellow panelists and our viewers as well, and also those who listen, to every radio station. Look, next thing, let me say this right: the president can do all in 1 year. How much we fought for the president to come to power, we will hold the president's feet to fire. But again, let us look at the big pictures, like how much money in the president, when he took over, how much money was in the account for the country, and that was the other stuff that I already, break down. We could remember during the past regime, we get Sabu Unit, we get all the Baba people that are around, threatening people, running behind people, and saying a lot of things. But look,
where was the Sabu Unit office?
they were in Liberia. Nelson, they were in Liberia. We all
Where
know
did they
that. That's something that is inheriting. And end of the day, today we see this president. All
How
the
is it
things
even connected to Sona?
you see certain people. No, I'm close.
That you talking, now you connected to what we're talking today.
My man, my own
Man,
saying.
the man close him, I protect the man.
I'm discussing
Ask
about security.
Let the brother do
My
his
own
stuff.
saying, man. I'm discussing about security, my brother. So end of the day, you not see Unity Partisan UPS group that said they say we Sabu Union, we have to defend the government. Anybody say something, we go there. It's not happening. So all we can say is this president we need more, as my brother said. Like the area they want to pave with quota. I always forget the place name in Grand Cayman County. That's better. And, it's okay for the Liberian people tourism. People go invest. At the end of the day, people will get job. There will be another job creation on that side. So we all pray for the best, and we'll keep pushing the government feet to the fire until things can be happening, job creation. And let me end by saying this: people talking about job. How many Liberians is well trained when it comes to half of the machine technology and stuff? When it comes to factory and stuff, we all need to discuss that holistic in a way that
so
that's true. Look at India. Look at India.
We
Look
got
at
people
how
trained for
factories.
driving Liberia.
I mean, don't bring our people down. We need leadership in the
They
country.
can do it. I said, how many now?
I mean, you always bring people down, you can.
If the citizens are not trained, it's the government's responsibility to provide the training for her citizens.
That's the answer.
Well,
Why did people say I bring people down, my man? Don't say that, man.
It's been a great show tonight. We want to appreciate everyone for being here. John Hina, Lynn Lakpo, Freeman, our dear sister James David, Ruth Koba. We appreciate all of you. Mika One, our dear brother. Thanks to all of you for being here. We look forward to another great show tomorrow. And thanks to you, Alfred, for being on. Thanks to you, Trokon, Fambole, Jelau, and of course, Boba. We look forward to being here tomorrow with another great show. Until then, have a good night, everyone. And yes, bye-bye.